Hi, I'm Christine Church, and this is Kobeejo. Welcome to our channel. Hi. Hey. I wanted to talk a little bit about grass, horses and grass. I'm outside. I'm in my horse's paddock. I don't let him have too much grass because he's 28 years old. He's got insulin resistance. He's got Cushing's. But some grass is very good for him, even with that, as long as it's not too rich and they don't eat too much. The sun's so bright I can't even... Now this grass, if you look at it, you'll see spots like this that look like, oh my goodness, yummy, yummy, right? That's the way most people are going to think. They're going to see a big spot of grass like this. But if you look around it, it's eaten down. There's nothing, all the grass around it is probably about maybe an eighth to a quarter of an inch tall. Even out here, now I have this ribbon up. Now behind this ribbon is grass that has grown. It's actually hay. That's actually hay, before, because see this, those are the seed heads. If this was cut, it would be first cut hay. But instead what I'm doing is I'm moving this ribbon back a little bit every day, and then my horse eats whatever is good edible grass for a horse. He knows what's right for him. See, there's a whole section right there. If any of this grass was edible, he would have eaten it by now. It's mostly weeds, which horses don't eat unless they're starving. So if a horse is leaving things like this behind and the other rest of the pasture looks like this, where it's eaten down pretty good. And I always have hay. I have 2 hay bins, little bit of hay, and he usually eats that too. So he's out here all day. He's got a little bit of grass. Now I know over here, if you look at this is all edible grass. He will eat all of this grass once the ribbon is moved back. I just moved it back a little bit, so there's a little grass here. That's edible grass, and this is the stuff he will eat. Now this little right there in the middle, he won't eat that. He'll eat around that. But this just lets you know, horses out in a pasture, how to tell whether there's really anything for them to eat or not. Especially if you don't put out hay. Because horses are grazing animals and they're meant to eat 24/7. And they will know when to stop. And if you look at some of my other videos, I'll be discussing the insides of a horse and how their digestive system works. But if you look at his paddock as a whole, here, see, most of it's just eaten down. See, there's really not that much for him to get in here. And that's the reason why I don't worry so much with him having insulin resistance and Cushing's, because a little bit of grass is good for him. And he's of course got a bin of hay there. He's got 1 flake over there in case he wants it, which he always does, because there's just not that much to fill him up. I have a horse and they're out in a pasture like this, and just because you see green doesn't mean there's edible grass out here that's enough to fill a horse's stomach and intestinal tract. I've seen too many times, I have seen horses put on fields like this and they're so hungry because they're picking little tiny bits, but a horse won't eat down all the way down to the roots, okay? That's as far as they'll eat. They only eat to a certain amount. The only time they will eat it all is, again, if they're not getting enough. And then they have to compensate. So if there's too much dirt in a, like say in a pasture this size, I don't know what size this pasture is. I haven't measured it. But, you know, it's a fairly good sized pasture for one horse. Or paddock, if you will. And I deliberately put this electric ribbon up so that so he didn't get too much grass all at once. I'm actually I'm keeping him on a small level of grass to keep him healthy without overloading his system. Now, if you have a horse that doesn't have sugar issues or metabolic issues, you know, obviously you don't need this, but they will eat it down. They'll eat it down fast. One horse will eat, I don't know, this is maybe, this whole entire thing, maybe close to a half an acre. I'm not really 100% sure. So, but one horse in here will eat it down because they eat continuously. That's what they're made for. So, see how there's some dirt spots, but these are because he was running around, kicked up the grass. Even if you have a paddock like that one out there, see all that with the equipment? That is huge. That's probably a couple of acres at least, or more. Now that, with 1 or 2 horses on it, would probably last without needing hay. Because it'll grow faster than they can eat it down if there's only 1 or 2. But you put a herd of horses out there, 3 or 4 horses will have that eaten down and it'll stay eaten down. And then you need to supplement with hay or switch paddocks, you know, rotate. A lot of people rotate. They'll let one will grow up while the horses eat down the other one. Anyway, I'm not trying to bore you. Probably already have. Things like this, again, are weeds that they won't eat. And as you see here, this is Chase. This is not my horse. My horse is in the barn because it's very hot today. See how he's picking? He's trying to find the littlest bits that he can. He has hay, but this is his choice. It's his choice. I'd rather pick at, you know, this is what he's saying. I'd rather pick at this small amount of grass than eat my hay. And you'll see that as well, where they'll go back and forth. My horse will go back and forth. He'll eat some hay, and then he'll go and he'll pick at whatever little bits he can find. But they won't eat it down to dirt because they don't need to. They have enough grazing material in here to last them the day. And since these two are they're only outside during the day and they're in at night, the grass does have a chance to grow a little bit during the night. So make sure that your horse, you know, don't look out in your pasture and say, well, you know what, it's green. There's plenty for them to eat, because I've heard that so many times, and it is an erroneous statement. He's got a flake there. Just because it's green doesn't mean that it's enough for an 1,100 or more pound animal. Okay? Just a little lesson for today. Have a wonderful day.